Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Nos programmes offrent plusieurs langues. Veuillez visiter suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Nuestros programas ofrecen varios idiomas. Visiten suprememastertv.com/schedule.
Acara kami menyediakan banyak bahasa. Silakan lihat suprememastertv.com/schedule.
The greater was the consumption of animal-based foods, the greater there was of the antigen. That's the active form of the virus.
Please continue watching to find out more.
Leuk je te ontmoeten means it's nice to meet you in Dutch, the official language of the Republic of Suriname. My name is Paul. The loving people of the Republic of Suriname cheer your noble choice to adopt a compassionate vegan lifestyle. Welcome to our show entitled A Global Food Reform is the Answer to COVID-19, Part 2 of 2. In our previous episode, we explored how the vegan lifestyle is the panacea to virtually all the major woes of the world today, including COVID-19. In this episode, we will discuss ways you can boost your body's immune system against major diseases like COVID-19. So far, most of the world's focus has been on limiting one's risk of possible exposure to the coronavirus. Measures recommended by the World Health Organization to minimize contact with the virus include social distancing, hand washing, wearing protective gear, and avoiding mass gatherings. While these measures are certainly essential, public health systems in many countries are increasingly emphasizing the other half of the equation, enhancing the immune system. This makes sense, since a robust immune system could possibly help keep the disease at bay, or minimize recovery time in the event one is infected. The following statistic shows just how crucial a strong immune system is in helping a patient recover from COVID-19. According to the US government's Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, or CDC, June 2020 data, deaths are nearly 12 times higher among COVID-19 patients with underlying medical conditions, such as heart disease, diabetes, chronic lung disease, and hypertension, than those without, a 19.5% versus 1.6% mortality rate. In addition, the mortality rate increases exponentially with age, further evidence that one with a weaker immune system is more likely to succumb to the disease. The question then becomes how to build a strong immune system. The first person we might look to is Hippocrates, the father of Western medicine, who said 2,500 years ago, "Let food be thy medicine, and medicine be thy food." This principle is echoed in one of the central tenets of traditional Chinese medicine. Medicine and food are of the same origin. Or, as the common saying goes, you are what you eat. But what kind of food is best for us? One of the largest and most comprehensive studies ever conducted in this area is a joint effort between Cornell University of the USA, Oxford University of England, the Chinese Academy of Preventive Medicine, and the Chinese Cancer Institute, tracking 6,500 rural Chinese over a 20-year period. The study finds conclusively that there are no nutrients in animal-based foods that are not better provided by plants. Not only that, it also finds that animal food of any kind, even in small amounts, is damaging to health. This highly regarded long term is chronicled in the iconic book The China Study, released in 2004 by one of the lead scientists of the project, Dr. T. Colin Campbell, Professor Emeritus of Nutritional Biochemistry at Cornell University. Today, at the age of 86, Dr. Campbell remains active in the promotion of the whole food plant-based diet as a vital solution to chronic diseases, environmental degradation, and climate change. In an interview conducted by his eldest son Nelson Campbell in April 2020 about COVID-19, Dr. Campbell sheds light on the role of plant-based food in managing viral infections.
The greater was the consumption of animal-based foods, the greater there was of the antigen, that's the active form of the virus.
Further, in an article published on plantpurecommunities.org in April 2020 entitled Our Most Important Defense Against COVID-19, Finding Hope Through Scientific Evidence, Dr. Campbell wrote,
In my opinion, good evidence exists to show that the beneficial effects of a whole food, plant-based WFPB diet also applies to viral diseases like COVID-19. I am referring to 1. Research findings in my lab in the 1970s through the 1990s, 2. Supplementary evidence from a comprehensive study of diet, lifestyle, and disease, twice done in a human population in rural China during the 1980s, and 3. Specific evidence from researchers on diet and viral infection.
An analysis of plant foods reveals why they are far superior to animal foods. Apart from providing the necessary fuel and nutrition for our body, a balanced vegan diet contains sufficient levels of many immunity powerhouses, including vitamin C, vitamin E, beta-carotene, flavonoids, selenium, and zinc. These super antioxidants enhance the production and activities of two important immune system defenders, white blood cells and antibodies, and protect them from oxidative damage. Wise viewers, we'll pause now for a constructive message and then return. Please stay tuned to Supreme Master Television. Welcome back to our show. According to Dr. Joel Kahn, known as America's Healthy Heart Doctor, a vegan diet leads to a reduction of high-sensitivity C-reactive protein, primary inflammatory marker associated with a high risk of coronary artery disease.
In early 2019, New York University published a study of 100 heart patients. Half of them did the American Heart Association diet, which is far better than the average American diet. Half of them did a plant-based diet designed to be very anti-inflammatory, brightly colored purples and reds and yellows and greens of whole foods. The C-reactive protein fell much more during the 12 or 16-week study on the plant diet than even the reasonably balanced American Heart Association diet.
A study in China found that one possible predictor for those having a mild episode of COVID-19 that develops into a more serious case over time is having higher amounts of C-reactive protein in their blood. When exploring the issue of health, people have long suspected that there is a strong correlation between a person's emotional well-being and the immune system. The field that seeks to explain this body-mind connection scientifically is known as psychoneuroimmunology, or PNI, which has grown by leaps and bounds in recent decades. A vast literature now exists showing that a happy mood boosts immunity, whereas sustained stress, anger, or fear can alter biological systems in a way that increases systemic inflammation, a precursor to chronic diseases. When we are stressed, our bodies produce higher levels of cortisol, our body's primary stress hormone. Cortisol helps the body deal with the stress in the short term, but sustained high levels of cortisol can result in a fatigued immune system, opening the door to heart disease, stroke, diabetes, and other chronic ailments. A high level of cortisol also exacerbates COVID-19 symptoms. According to research published in July 2020 by the UK-based National Institute for Health Research, excessive cortisol is associated with an increased mortality rate and a shorter survival period for COVID-19 patients. Health psychology professor Kavita Vedara at the University of Nottingham, UK, has noted, high levels of cortisol are associated with poor COVID-19 outcomes, and drugs that block the hormone seem to improve outcomes. The good news is that it is within our power to prevent or help reverse chronic diseases, as well as COVID-19, by reducing cortisol levels and associated chronic inflammation. According to Dr. Gökhan S. Hatamashligil, a Simmons Professor of Genetics and Metabolism at the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health, a pioneer in research efforts to understand chronic diseases, chronic inflammation is uniformly damaging and is absolutely causal to the process, because if you interfere with it, you can reverse the pathology. When it comes to the best ways to prevent excess inflammatory responses and manage cortisol levels, a plethora of research shows that, other than exercising regularly and maintaining a positive mindset, the food we eat is of paramount importance. A single meal containing animal products may double the cortisol level in your blood. This may be related to the fact that livestock animals constantly undergo extremely stressful conditions, especially at the time of slaughter. Conversely, a wholesome vegan meal lowers the cortisol level and stress level. Dark chocolate, holy basil, and almonds are examples of effective cortisol reducers. This may explain why many studies have shown that vegans are, on the whole, much happier and less stress-prone than meat eaters. A whole food vegan diet also lifts one's mood by elevating the level of serotonin, the happy hormone, in the brain. Tryptophan is the amino acid that the brain uses to generate serotonin. Fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, pulses and whole grains contain abundant tryptophan. By contrast, animal foods, especially dairy, inhibits tryptophan from crossing the blood-brain barrier and being converted to serotonin. As we have seen, a wholesome vegan diet is beneficial to the immune system in many ways. A vegan lifestyle is exactly what the fully enlightened spiritual master, Supreme Master Ching Hai, has been lovingly advising for decades to safeguard our health, environment, animal co-inhabitants, and our planet Earth, our only home. Her divinely inspired message is particularly relevant today amidst the pandemic and climate emergency.
The lifestyle of a vegan diet is most peaceful. First, the vegan diet is making peace with our own body, because it is the healthiest and kindest diet we could ever have to our being. Millions upon millions of deaths due to heart disease, cancer, diabetes, and obesity could be virtually gone. We will have a stronger immune system to face other kinds of diseases, which would not plague us. New deadly viruses like the swine flu or worse would not plague us anymore.
Our sincere gratitude to Supreme Master Ching Hai for her infinite compassion and wisdom, and for patiently showing us the way to a safe and sustainable future. Let us heed her words and resolve to honor the foremost tenet in all the major religions of the world, benevolence, and dedicate ourselves to the realization of a peaceful and prosperous vegan world together.
All of Supreme Master Ching Hai's tips for protection during the COVID-19 and any other pandemic are free for viewing and download at masterstipsoncovid-19.com.
Inspired viewers, thank you for your company today for our program. Coming up next is Buddhist Stories, the story of Maga, part 8 of 10, on Between Master and Disciples, right after noteworthy news. May inner bliss unfurl in your being like a fragrant blossom in heaven's everlasting love.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule and suprememastertv.com/show.